Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. So we will be using the Work Your Light Tarot, or the Work Your Light Oracle, the Muse Tarot, and the Fairy Oracle by Brian Froud. So let's get started. Okay, do you want to tune in for this one? Okay. Taking a step aside. And allowing Spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay. Okay. Ooh, this is another big energy. We had a big energy yesterday. This is another one. Ooh. There's a very messy sort of, it's kind of, it's a very messy sort of energy in some ways. Okay, so we have this, we have the ever unfolding rose. Cracked open, it's happening for you, not to you. And so for some of you, this is actually a very difficult energy that you're navigating currently at this time. So I'm not trying to laugh about it to make fun of it. It's just, it's funny how it came in for me with the shuffling. There's something slightly messy about this energy. So, some of you may be feeling like all these various things are falling apart and going on at this time. This is really something that happens when we need to be humbled in some way. And that's not to say that you're proud or you're egotistical or anything like that, but that space of humility and vulnerability is a space that we as human beings, we cover up a lot, right? And when we are required to change or to evolve, we have to be cracked open and have that vulnerability come to the forefront in order for the magic to happen, right? And so that's what it seems like is happening for somebody right now. You have a lot of little things that are kind of going wrong. Things that you didn't really want to do, you're having to do them. So for example, maybe you have a business, but that business isn't quite working out, so you have to go back to a job, or you know, maybe there's something that you're wanting to do that you have to put on hold here. Yeah, there's an exercise in wisdom that's taking place. There may be different perspectives that we're having to gain. There's something that we can't quite figure out, and this is requiring us to go within to find the answer here. This is an initiation of some kind into a next phase of existence. Here we have the Oak Man with the topsy-turvets. Okay. So the Oak Man, he has hard-won wisdom. He has to go through a lot of struggles to gain this wisdom, right? He's the old man of the oak. He's seen a lot of things. He's grown for a very long time. For some of you, you may be advanced in your years because of the presence of this card. There's different things. We're seeing different perspectives, and no matter what perspective we're looking at things, everything seems to look the same. However, we may know logically that this can't be the case. And so this is what is required now, is this search within to find the answers. There seems to be some sort of central perception that everything is hinging on, right? And as we locate that central perception, we're going to be able to change the other perceptions that follow suit. So someone here is doing some very heavy soul searching, some very heavy reprogramming, quite possibly, in order to bring about a new energy. It's almost this feeling of, I'm tired of being stuck here. I'm tired of being here. You know, I'm determined to get myself out of here. I'll never forget when in my life, when I switched from, you know, all these things are always happening to me. It always goes this way. This is what always happens. Like, this is my life. This is my fate, you know? And then I just had this day where it was like, F this, I've had enough. This is going to change. And this is the process that I had to go through as well, right? In order to reprogram some things. And then, you know, over the course of several years, things did change. So that's what it seems like to me. This is the energy that it's striking me as. Someone has just gotten fed up with something and has decided that they are going to make it change. And I love that. I love that determination and that willpower that's involved in that, right? That's where we finally choose ourselves over what we think our lot in life is, right? And that's what we need to do. That's what we have to do as people to really activate and actualize ourselves into our life. So this is an initiation for somebody. You're going through a big initiation period. Okay. taking a lot of courage here, for sure. Definitely taking a lot of courage, and the bottom of that was this gotcha. This is when we see things that we didn't expect to see. For some of you, you're going to see very positive things about yourself that you didn't expect to see. Sometimes gotcha can be very positive. Some of you are going to see some things about yourself that are a little bit more what we would feel is negative, that we didn't expect to see. Don't be hard on yourself, right? Don't be hard on yourself. There's no point in being hard on yourself. Most people don't do well when they're hard on themselves, right? That kind of pressure just doesn't work for most people. When we're hard on ourselves, or we feel a lot of guilt or a lot of shame, most people will do whatever it is they feel guilty or shameful about much more often if they feel guilty or shameful about it. And so accept that this is part of you. Whatever it is that you're seeing here that's taken a great deal of courage to see, accept that it's part of you. It's part of you that deserves to be loved, right? It's rooted in an energy that has a time and place. Maybe we're just expressing it in the wrong time and place, right? Towards the wrong people, for example. And so just allow yourself some grace, right? The best way to heal and to grow for ourselves is to allow ourselves some grace, allow ourselves to be human, and to understand that we have the choice to be better, and that we can make that choice, and there doesn't have to be shame and guilt attached to that. It's other people that want us to feel ashamed and guilty, right? And that gets into the power struggle dynamic. So don't feel that you have to have that. You're allowed to see things about yourself and to acknowledge that you're imperfect, and that through that imperfection and seeing it, you can now take a step towards being better. For some of you, you may be realizing that you have a lot of false fears, because underneath that is phobia. This is where we've blocked our own way, where maybe we've sabotaged ourselves, where maybe we've sabotaged other people. For some of you, I'm feeling very strongly this is in regards to the amount of love that we give and that we receive, that we may have self-sabotaged in some ways that we really didn't see before. For others of you, this is just ways that we don't pick ourselves, right? The ways where we don't prioritize ourselves, or we don't take the opportunities that are correct for us. So with 6 and 1, there may be something from our early childhood with that number 6 that we are actually isolating and changing on a personal level with that number 1. So let's go ahead over here. Tell me more about this ever unfolding rose. Yeah, again, if you notice, and I think we even got these in a previous reading this week, if you look at this, how, this is that unfolding, and we've had the same thing here, right? We're really understanding who we are. And for some of you, you're at this level where not only are you understanding who you are, you're getting behind that. You're understanding the essence of something that's even deeper than who you are, right? That is at the core of all of it. Part of that, for some of you, you might be moving into lessons of non-duality, for example, especially with the geometrics showing up there. But for some of you, this really feels like understanding how in some ways we've allowed an aspect of ourselves to be occluded and hidden. And as we bring that forward for ourselves, really exposing ourselves to ourselves, this is again cracking us open in some way. I mean, we even see that here. And as we crack open, we have this beautiful light of vulnerability, right? That is really exposing our true self, our true nature for some of you. And we're understanding that there's something very holy and sacred to that as we're looking at this, and we're seeing the pillars of like a temple or a cathedral. There's a lot of processing that's taking place for somebody as they're experiencing this. Roses may be coming up for somebody. I'm seeing a full moon as a symbol that's coming up for someone as well. Okay, I guess we're doing symbols now. Roses, a full moon. There's a mandala that looks like a lotus. It has like lotus sort of vibe to this mandala. And then along with that, there's also a spider web. Spider webs come up a lot as a symbol, I've noticed. There's speakers. And then a black wand. I'm seeing a silver snake. and then a little brown mouse, but I don't think it's actually a mouse. I think it's like a toy or something like that. So, okay. Some of you, we're getting a window into ourself, and this window into ourself is causing a sense of liberation, and understanding the ways that we've kept ourselves stuck, and understanding the ways that maybe we've sabotaged ourselves or let others sabotage us. It seems like we're really understanding something very truly about ourself, about our core, about our true nature, and this feels very liberating as I'm stepping into that energy. And that's the thing, when we adopt this courage, right, when we finally have this bravery to start looking, to really look, one of the things that we find is that there are so many layers adopted around us that have been the story or the narrative that we have taken on because it's the narrative that we've been given our whole lives. Someone is starting to see that here with the Ten of Voices. This is the Ten of Swords. But if you notice all these different layers and all these little mirror-like qualities, they're piercing her in various chakra points. And these are things that affect her root. These are things that affect her sacral chakra. These are things that affect her solar plexus. They affect her heart, right? All these areas within our life, our love, our self-efficacy, our ability to connect to our families, our ability to provide for ourselves and provide safety. All of these things are very affected here by these words, these hurtful words that maybe have been given to you throughout your lifetime. Whoever I'm reading for, you've been gaslit a lot. For sure, this collective has been gaslit a lot. And now what we're doing is we're seeming to free ourselves from this, right? Horses in general, white horses, are very symbolic of freedom. When they have wings, even more so. And we're floating above these perceptions and these jagged untruths that have been given to us. Meanwhile, exploring our own truths, which some of them are going to be beautiful, some of them not so much. But the more that we explore these things, the more that we're going to understand ourselves. And then we come to this Queen of Materials, who has been making an appearance all week, right? She is kind of the queen of that unfolding. She's what peeks through that window at us when we're able to see fully, when we don't have the narratives, when we don't have the limiting beliefs and the deceptions that we've placed on ourselves and other people have placed on us. Someone here is getting a true glimpse at themselves. For some of you, as you do this, there's a certain amount of anger that's coming through. And that's okay, right? Sometimes when we get that glimpse of our true self after having been in this other energy, we go through a process of grief, right? Grieving for the time that we can't get back, that we lived under this. This is like a reawakening for somebody. For some of you, again, it's just this feeling of liberation, not so much that anger, although there could be both. Whoever this is, whoever you are, it's a feeling of, I've been ready for this change, and nobody told me that I could do this. It's that kind of energy, right? Nobody told me that it could be this way, but this is a massive perspective shift for somebody. This perspective shift is the kind that will change your life, absolutely. And I think that whoever this is, you already know that. We have the Star. This is where we start prioritizing ourselves instead of taking a back seat in our life. This is where somebody understands that the things that they think, the things that they feel, the things that they say do matter. This is where our perception shifts from what does everyone else think and say about me, which, you know, when you have this realization that those things aren't necessarily accurate, that's when you stop caring what people think and say about you, right? And somebody's taking that energy and they're placing that on themselves. What do I think about me? What do I feel about me? Right? Because that's the important part. That's the important stuff. That's the stuff we either have to work through or we have to grow, right? So this is a beautiful reading. This is where somebody's had the perspective shift that causes them to step into a space where they can actually come into self-actualization and into alignment. So I love this. Yeah, I love this. So I'm going to leave this here. If this resonates for you, please hit that like button. Feel free to leave me a comment. And until next time.